Games, board games. You might be wanting to make board games, or maybe you want to bake a cake. Either way, just go and do the thing. That's what I am basically singing about, and to it, even if it's bad or very late. You don't have to put pressure on yourself to be great, and normally it's better to do something late than not at all. Even if someone said this is the very last call. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, time it is wherever you are, 10 a.m. is UK time for Busy Beats and Board Game Blether. And today, episode 878, it's worth doing things badly. It's worth doing things, even if you think, what's the blimmin' point of this? No one would want this. Even if you're going to a playtest, sometimes, for me at least, there's a bit of ego involved, but getting my game to a playtest, even if it's something that I've made that morning, even if it's something where people are saying, yeah, this isn't that good, and I have to totally rework it, feeling like I made something that can be played, even that is an achievement. Something that the rules worked, and even if there's nothing about it that was enjoyed, at least you did something, and celebrate that. Try to celebrate the fact that you did the thing. If there's a submission for a contest or whatever, and it's like, yeah, you need to submit by this date. I mean, sure, that might mean that if you do it late, then they just completely ignore it. But if the form's still open, go for it and submit. Like, worst case scenario, it might be a case of, well, we're going to ignore it, but hopefully you've got that text, and hopefully it's encouraged you to think, and you've done the thing, and doing the thing is habit forming, because then maybe you do it again. Maybe next time you'll do it better, but again, just doing it, even if it's bad, even if it's late, is a first step. So yeah, let me take a step back and talk about recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights, recent highlights. So yesterday I went to, I should have shared the photos so I can share them here, but I went to Jugged Hare, daytime playtesting, Sundays, officially from 1 o'clock until the pub closes. The pub closes at 6 o'clock. It's very early. They also closed the upstairs at 5:30. So that's only 4.5 hours. That's really not great. So what happened is I tried to get there at 12. Of course, I was a wee bit late, like 12:30. Had a lovely chat with Alex and Andrea and Rob Harper, like lovely people. And then other people came in, like Valentina, who I got to meet. And just playing games together. First, we played what I'm calling Heartstrings, a game about making a physical web of connections using a ball of wool. So you throw the wool as you shout out something you love, other people say they love it, you throw it to someone, you try to throw it to someone you're making a new connection with maybe, and then it gets thrown around a circle until eventually everyone's had it, put their hand down who loved the thing, and then a new thing is shouted and it carries on. You create this web of connections, talking about things that you love to do with friends, with family, by yourself, foods or places that you love. And then eventually you start in the second phase talking about differences, something that you're neutral about, but does someone else feel solid? Because this is actually the thing that can break people apart. And but then I physically cut the connections with the scissors, and eventually people are left with a slightly disheveled web of connections. Right at the end, I kind of cut it just by everyone's wrist, so they've got all this wool by the wrist, so they could theoretically leave that on for a while if they wanted, as a little memento, saying you are your own individual, but we keep all these connections with us. So yeah, that was a lovely game to play. What else did I play? I played 3 different games by other people. I played Grab Bag Zoo by Rob Harper, a lovely game. It's about feeling things, it's about being tactile, unique selling point. It's about, can you feel the thing? I mean, yes, it's not the only game with that as a mechanism, but I think it's a little bit more evolved than the other two that I'm aware of. So it's got a smidgen of strategy in there. Um, I played a game with betting and deduction by Rob Harris, and I really liked betting. I mean, that was really nice. But Rob wanted to make it more about deduction. But so you need to pick what you want. And we also played a game by Doric, which was a trick-taking one against many Dungeon Delver things. It was a lovely day. Spent some time with people, had a drink in the pub, came back, and was too exhausted, and played a bunch on Board Game Arena as I do most days. Brilliant thing, brilliant thing. What's a little thing that is brilliant? Brilliant thing is just a plain achievement, getting the thing done and celebrating that, the action, as opposed to the inaction. Because sure, we could construct many scenarios in life where inaction is clearly better than some perverse action or whatever, but in this state of, hey, I'm making a thing that's meant to be enjoyed, or I'm meant to be submitting this, like doing something late. I mean, that's the point of what the topic is today. Like action, just the fact that you did something, even if it's late, even if it's, not anything like what you hoped, like even if it's late, that might still have value. And even if it's not anywhere near as good as what you hoped, well, that could be the first step. Or worst case scenario, it might be something that you completely discard, but you've given it a go. And that might lead to other ideas. I've made so many terrible games that some of them, like earlier on, like I had a terrible game. I just called it a hex chips game. That let's talk about that. But like talking about actions, like I made a hex chits game where you've got like these. You had these tiny chits. They were literally about this size. They were way too small and fiddly because the hexes were about this size, and they had to fit. So you were summoning your units, and it was like wizard against wizard, magical combat. But then the idea was that some of the scenarios, the creatures would be gathering things for you and then bringing them back as you assemble this artifact. So it's kind of like a grab and collect race type thing. It was kind of working, but there wasn't any joy in it. No one was playing this and saying, oh, I'm really enjoying it. But the value in it was that I did it. The value in that was that it got me making games. This was genuine. Like, if you look on Board Game Geek, I've got 3 games listed, which I don't know if you can really call them published. Like, I've got Gothello, which is an abstract game. Like, the rules are all there, but I've not played that for years and years and years. And I think there's a point beyond just, because even if I'm not demoing a game, even if I'm not selling it, if a game's good enough, I'm going to want to play it myself. But yeah, Gothello, it's Big Fish, Little Fish, and Wee Van Sank. I mean, Wee Van Sank I've got this off spots in my heart for, but the point is that these aren't good games, but they came into the world. They got me making stuff. Like the Hex Chits game, it got me iterating. It got me listening to the feedback. I learned to listen to some people and sometimes not listen to other people. I learned through the process. I learned about crafting. I learned about, oh, wow, these things were too tiny and fiddly, so in future I'm going to use bigger cards. I learned so much. By doing things badly, you learn. Whether you are going to take that learning to the project you're currently working on, or whether you are going to take that to a completely other project, or indeed whether you're going to just abandon game design. If you make something and you're like, yeah, maybe this isn't for me, you still have value as a person. And I want to keep reiterating that, because if you're a creative person, sometimes it's so easy to see yourself as only having value because you make games, or because you do art, or because you make music, or whatever the thing is that you do. But you do have so much value beyond that. But even if you don't do the thing, you still have value. But if you do the thing, then yes, that itself also has value. So to all the beginners, to all the people who are coming in new, but also to all the experts who just need a reminder. If you did a thing, even if it's bad, even if it's terrible, even if it's going to be completely wiped, you did it. And congratulations for that. That's basically all I'm saying. So yeah, thank you for listening. Let me scroll down, and it's going to be the question of the day. Question of the day. Here's a little question before we go on our way. The question of the day is: what's the last thing that you can say? I did that, even if it's like bad. So I'm going to say, yeah, I did that. So, like, I submitted games to the Now Play This festival, and I feel good about that. So I feel good about the submission because, yeah, it does. It is kind of challenging to be like, yeah, I'm going to do this thing, and maybe my word, my submission isn't as good as it could be. Am I expressing the game ideally? Am I expressing it in its perfect state? And there's a lot of that bleeping marketing, it is kind of the marketing, selling yourself to be the thing. But like, I did that. And so, yeah, but yeah, that's what's something that you would like to share. And my silly question of the day that I'm also genuinely curious about is stripes or dots? Because I'm looking over there and I'm not going to lie, I've got a bit of laundry and I've got, quite a few garments with stripes on. I've got multiple tops, I've got leggings and tights with stripes, but I've just got this one garment with dots. And the truth is, I much prefer dots. I just think, especially red with white on the. And I think that for me, dots, they just look a bit more joyful and yeah, where, yeah, for me, it's dots all the way. What do you prefer, dots or stripes? Do you have a preference? Over to you. What are you up to? You can share Botsony if you want to. I am, yeah, I said to someone on Facebook, even though I don't feel like I deserve it, it's good to move away from that mode of thinking, just do the fun thing. So, yeah, I've got Monday is going to be my day off. I've got someone coming over. We're going to start the Time Stories mission, Brotherhood of whatever. It's the one about the pirates, and it's the highest rated one on Board Game Geek. So, I guess it'll tell us whether we enjoy the game enough to play more together or not. And it might be that Kerry doesn't enjoy it so much. I'm kind of assuming that, but we will at least have played the best one together. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'll be off to a pub event and till 7, and in the evening, if I've got energy, then I might do some work. But no, I'll allow myself to take the day off and just play games on Board Game Arena at the end. Recap and wrap up before we finish up. To recap and wrap up, basically, if you've done the thing, congratulations. If you're scared of doing the thing because you don't feel like it's going to be good, do it. If you're scared of doing the thing because you're thinking, oh, it's late and time's marching on, I mean, if there's a chance that it might be useful, do it. And so I just want to encourage you to do the thing, and the way to making a game or to composing a tune or doing anything isn't some grand moment of inspiration. Fundamentally, it's kind of banal. It's just about starting and then continuing until you finish. And sure, some projects will eventually have to be abandoned because you realize that it's not going there, but that itself is going to hopefully have given you muscles and learning things along the process. If you want to check me out, I am, of course, Stuff by Bez in all of the places. Stuffbybez.com/streams will tell you that tomorrow I am chatting again with Ori Kagan, and yeah, day after with Jess, and then I'm off to Bastion in Wales, which I'm quite excited for. I'll be doing short streams from there, similar to my usual Friday daytime stuff where it's just like a quick 5 minutes. Hello, goodbye. Please share, spread the word, and thank you very much, everyone who's been listening or watching. If you leave any comments, then I do always reply to every respectful comment I see, even if it's sometimes takes me a few days. But for now, so much love, and the only thing left for me to say is bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Do do do. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Do do. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, bye, everyone. Bye, 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 bye.